My dear friends, life is a very interesting teacher. When we are young, we think success means speed. We think power means control. We think happiness means collecting more and more. But as the years pass, life quietly whispers another truth into our hearts. The people who truly change the world are not always the loudest people. They are not always the richest people. They are not always the most educated people. Sometimes the greatest impact comes from ordinary souls who quietly endured extraordinary pain with grace. A mother who sacrificed her comfort so her children could study. A father who kept smiling despite financial struggles. A grandmother who lost loved ones yet still folded her hands in prayer every morning. A teacher who continued guiding students even when life disappointed him. These people may never trend on social media. Their faces may never appear on magazine covers, yet their endurance becomes a light for generations. A candle never speaks. It simply burns and gives light. In the same way, soulful endurance silently becomes wisdom for the future. Today, let us reflect deeply on 7 signs that your soulful endurance has already become a beacon for future generations. Number 1. Your pain has started creating compassion instead of bitterness. One of the biggest signs of spiritual growth is this. Suffering no longer makes you cruel. Many people experience pain, but pain affects people differently. Some become angry, some become cold, some lose faith in humanity. But soulful people become softer. They understand tears because they have cried. They understand loneliness because they have sat alone. They understand rejection because they have been rejected. And because of that, they stop judging others harshly. I once heard about an elderly shopkeeper in a small town. Every evening, a poor young boy would come to his grocery store asking for leftover bread. The boy looked weak and embarrassed. One day, the shopkeeper quietly packed fresh food into a bag and handed it to him. The boy said, "Uncle, I only asked for old bread." The old man smiled and replied, "When I was your age, I also slept hungry many nights. Someone once fed me with dignity. I am only returning that kindness. Look carefully at this story." The old man's suffering did not become poison. It became compassion. And generations remember compassion. Honour people forever. Your children may forget your lectures, but they will never forget how you treated people when life became difficult. Because values are not taught through words. They are transferred through behavior. When your endurance produces kindness instead of bitterness, your soul becomes a lighthouse for future generations. Number 2. Younger people feel safe around you. Asterisk, have you noticed something beautiful? Some people enter a room and everyone becomes tense. But some people enter a room and hearts relax. Why? Because peaceful souls create emotional shelter. A spiritually mature person does not compete with younger generations. They guide them gently. Young people today are carrying silent pressure. Pressure to succeed. Pressure to look perfect. Pressure to earn quickly. Pressure to prove themselves constantly. And many of them are exhausted internally. When they meet someone who listens without judging, they feel peace. I remember reading about a retired school principal who spent his evenings sitting in a public park. Slowly, teenagers from the neighborhood began sitting around him. He never preached. He never criticized. He simply listened. One boy later said, "Talking to him feels like sitting under a tree on a hot day." What a beautiful sentence. A tree does not ask who deserves shade. It simply gives shade. In the same way, when your endurance teaches you patience, your presence itself becomes healing. Future generations do not only need technology, they need emotionally safe people. And maybe, without realizing it, you have become one of them. Number 3. Your life story gives others strength to continue. Many people think their struggles are meaningless. But sometimes your survival becomes someone else's motivation. The battles you fought silently may one day save another person from giving up. There was a woman whose husband passed away very early. She had 3 children and no financial support. During the day, she stitched clothes for people. At night, she cried quietly so her children would not see her pain. Years later, her daughter became a doctor. At an award ceremony, the daughter said, "My mother taught me that strength is not loud. Strength is continuing even when nobody claps for you." That sentence touched thousands of people. See, the mother never stood on a stage giving motivational speeches. But her endurance became inspiration. Friends, your scars are not always signs of weakness. Sometimes they are proof that darkness did not defeat you. And when younger people see someone continue despite suffering, they begin believing. If they survived, maybe I can survive too. Your journey becomes permission for others to stay strong. That is sacred influence. Number 4. You have learned to value peace more than ego. One powerful sign of inner evolution is this: you stop needing to win every argument. In youth, we often fight to prove ourselves right. But wisdom teaches us peace is more valuable than ego satisfaction. A spiritually evolved person understands that relationships matter more than temporary victories. I once met an elderly man who said, "In my younger days, I wanted the last word in every conflict. Now I only want the last emotion in my home to be love." What maturity. Many homes are suffering not because of lack of money, but because of too much ego. Future generations carefully observe how elders handle conflict. Do they insult? Do they shout? Do they humiliate others? Or do they respond with dignity? Children learn emotional behavior by watching adults. When your endurance teaches you humility, you break generational cycles of anger. And this is one of the greatest gifts you can leave behind. Not property, not status, but emotional wisdom. Number 5. People seek your advice during difficult times. This is a very deep sign. When people come to you during their storms, it means your life has earned silent credibility. People trust those who have suffered honestly, not people who pretend perfection. Real wisdom is born from experience. There was an old farmer whose crops failed many times due to droughts. Yet every year he planted seeds again with faith. One day a young farmer asked him, "How do you stay hopeful after so many failures?" The old man smiled and said, "Because seasons change. If I let one bad season decide my spirit, I would lose my life before losing my crops." What wisdom! That wisdom cannot be learned only from books. It comes from enduring life deeply. When future generations come to you for guidance, it means your scars have become sacred lessons. Never underestimate the value of your lived experience. Your journey may contain medicine for someone else's pain. Number 6. You inspire ears without trying to impress them. The world today is obsessed with appearance. People try hard to look successful, look happy, look important. But soulful endurance creates another kind of influence: authenticity. Authentic people do not perform goodness, they naturally radiate it. I once heard about a bus conductor who worked honestly for 40 years. He never stole money, he never cheated passengers. After retirement, many former passengers came to meet him. Someone asked, "Why are so many people emotional for an ordinary conductor?" One passenger replied, "In a dishonest world, his honesty gave us hope." See the beauty here. You do not need millions of followers to influence humanity. Sometimes, simply living truthfully becomes revolutionary. Future generations are not only inspired by extraordinary achievements, they are inspired by extraordinary character. When your endurance keeps your integrity alive despite difficulties, your life itself becomes a silent sermon. And silent sermons are often the most powerful. Number 7. Your presence reminds people that faith still exists. The final sign is perhaps the most sacred. After everything life has done to you, you still believe in goodness. You still pray. You still help others. You still smile gently. You still thank God. This kind of faith touches hearts deeply. There was an elderly grandmother who lost her husband and later her son. Yet every morning she lit a small lamp and prayed peacefully. Her grandson once asked, "Daddy, after so much pain, why do you still pray?" She smiled and said, "Because pain changed my life, but I will not allow it to change my heart." What incredible spiritual strength! Friends, broken people often break others, but healed souls heal generations. When younger people see someone remain faithful despite suffering, they understand that spirituality is not escape from pain. It is strength within pain. And that realization can transform entire generations. Conclusion, my dear friends, never think your endurance is unnoticed. Every silent sacrifice, every patient response, every tear hidden behind a smile, every moment you chose kindness over bitterness is shaping the emotional future of humanity. A river never drinks its own water. A tree never eats its own fruit. The sun never shines for itself. Similarly, soulful people often suffer only for themselves, but to create wisdom for generations they may never even meet. So if life has been difficult for you, do not lose heart. Your endurance may already be someone's inspiration. Your patience may already be healing your family. Your faith may already be lighting another soul's darkness. And one day, long after words are forgotten, people may still remember one thing about you. You made others feel stronger simply by the way you lived.